Hello, Dippers, and welcome to Game 29 of the Ducks on the Pond podcast. I am your host today, Layton Pip Shatterton, the producer, and I am joined by no one. Drake is on vacation this week, couldn't get back in time. Lex is doing whatever Lex does when he's not with me. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at The Saucy Pod. Make sure to listen to Murder Show Talks on the Side every Monday, Home Stay every Wednesday, Look at Sandwich every Thursday, Fancy 15 every Friday, and Food for Thought every Saturday. This is the first podcast that was designed for more than one person to do, done with one person. So this could be a very interesting podcast. It's going to be shorter than normal, obviously, because it's only my voice and nobody else's. So sit back and relax, and let's see how this goes.
Hey, Ducks on the Pond here, kid. Ducks on the Pond. Let's go now, baby. Drive 'em in. Welcome to Ducks on the Pond,
a Sauce on the Side production.
So we'll start with a little recap of the first round of the playoffs. I'm talking about the NLDS. In the first series, the Brewers swept the Dodgers. Last week, I didn't think there was any chance the Brewers would sweep the Dodgers, especially going back to Colorado. But this Colorado Rockies team has just looked absolutely exhausted. Going back to that 13-game game against the Cubs. Going back to the whole series, they only scored 2 runs in 3 games. They had no chance. Even if their back's against the wall, with anything on the table, they couldn't pull out one single win. And this Brewers team, right now, is just playing on a whole nother level of honestly every other team in baseball. They're hitting well. They're pitching well. This team looks like it's primed to make a run at a true World Series championship. On the other side, we have the Dodgers beating the Braves in 4. This one would have been a sweep had Ronald Acuna not hit a grand slam to put the game basically out of reach in Game 3, followed by Freddie Freeman's home run. Later in that game, it was too for the Dodgers to overcome. However, the very next afternoon, the Dodgers went out there, closed the series out like a true contending team would do. They shut it down, they got the job done. We went to NLCS against the Brewers, which I think is going to actually end up being a very good long series. Going to ALDS, the Astros swept the Indians. Again, this was a series that we talked about on the show. I want to see going, 4 or 5 games, because while the Astros are definitely the most superior team to the Indians, the Indians still have some players. They have 4 really good starting pitchers. And like Lindor, Ramirez, Donaldson, and Encarnacion, I know Donaldson's been hurt most of the season, but he's still one of those hitters where you have to fear him and treat him with respect. And then Michael Brantley, probably one of the most underrated players in all of baseball this season. He batted with 300, had over 20 RBIs, which is a really good hitter for this team, and just none of those guys got going. Even the starting pitching, even Kluber allowed 4 runs in his start. In Game 3, the team that allowed 11 runs. Again, a lot of them came later in the game, but they were just done. It looked like a defeated team going to Game 3 once they lost the lead. They were just finished, and that's how they played. And then we have my Red Sox beating the Yankees in 4 games. Basically, this is a really good series. Game 3, Brock Holt became the first player ever to hit for the cycle in a postseason game. That might be the craziest stat ever, that Brock Holt is the first player ever to do something in a baseball game. So then, Game 4, Red Sox, have a 5-1 lead. Look like they have it locked up, and then Craig Kimbrel comes in the game, totally implodes, walks 2 or 3 guys, allows a single to Gregorius. Then he just flat hits Neil Walker in the foot, brings in a run. I'm going nuts. I'm young at the TV set. Still flying around my house. But in the end, they got it done. Aaron Nunez, who is a bum, might I add, threw such a bad ball to first base. If Steve Pearce didn't have, evidently, a Gold Glove caliber glove and could stretch out from me to the moon, then we're not winning that game, and we're not winning that series. But he made the catch, locked it down, went to review, confirmed him out, moved on to Astros. So now we're going to the current series going on. Start of the NLCS. This series is actually tied 1-1. Game 3 tomorrow. After Game 1, you look at the Brewers, hadn't slowed down at all. I mean, the Brewers had won the 12th straight game, and you thought, okay, they're going to go to LA up 2-0. But last night in the game, Justin Turner hit an 8th inning home run and put the Dodgers on top, and then never lost the lead again. So this is now going to be a series. I said last week that I thought the Dodgers would win one, if not two, of the first games in LA, and I still think that. If this series goes to 3-1, goes back to Milwaukee, I think this series is going to end in 6 games once it goes back out to the West Coast. Because as good as this Brewers team has been, travel in the postseason with all these high-stress at-bats and high-stress outs does play a part on these players. And you're kind of starting to see that with some of the players now. Like Christian Yelich, so far, end of last series, and this series, he's only batting in the 200s. He doesn't have a home run. They're pitching around him a little bit. He's not taking the pitches he needs to be taking. I have actual worry for the Brewers. I still think they win it in 6 games. I think they take one of the first 2 games in LA, and then they go back and win game 6 in LA. That bullpen is too good. Once they get a lead on you, they're going to bring in Hader, bring in Knebel. I know the bullpen blew for him last night, but that's not going to happen a whole lot. Hader's about to get some rest. The Brewers are going to be okay. They win this series and go into the World Series and face the winner of this next series. The ALCS. Astros and Red Sox. Astros are currently up 1-0. Last night, Chris Sale went 4 innings, allowed 2 runs. Should have been 1 run if Nunez could get his damn glove on the ground and catch a ground ball. Verlander looked really good. He only allowed runs, walked guys into a wild pitch, we couldn't really get a hit on him. So our bats were more just like props last night, and not the weapons that they need them to be. Mookie Betts, Jay Martinez, and the Bogarts, those 3 guys drive this offense. Benintendi has to get on base and to do his thing, but Betts, Martinez, Bogarts are the driving force behind this offense. We need them producing runs and slugging. We cannot move Mookie Betts out of the leadoff spot, it's not possible, but we need one of the guys, whether it's Leon or Vasquez, whoever starts, Barry Jr. getting on base. So when he comes up to the plate, he has guys on base to drive in, and he has to drive them in. He has to produce, he has to hit home runs. He has to hit those in the gaps. We have to start engineering these runs, because tonight we have Garrett Cole on the mound, who is no slouch. Like Garrett Cole is going to be top 3 in the Cy Young voting. And on the other side of the mound, we have David Price, who, as everybody knows, is like 0-10, 0-11 now in his postseason career. Just look absolutely awful against the Yankees. And going against another team with right-handed bats in Springer and Bregman and Correa and Altuve, it's worrisome. It's very, very, very worrisome. David Price needs to have big boy pants on tonight. Get out there and basically just pitch like he's 28 again. That's what we need from him. But see, this actual lineup, absolutely deadly. Top to bottom. I talk about Brantley being much underrated players for Indians. Gurriel is batting over 400 when in scoring position. If a guy comes second base, he's basically automatic. He's like Alan Craig. And what season that was, 2011, 2013, whatever that season was. This series, I still have faith in the Red Sox. I do think we're going to win this series in 7 games. I thought we were 7 games the whole time. We're not going to get anything past the Astros team. I think this will end up being a great classic series. So that has been your review of the NBA playoffs so far. And now we'll go on to Is It a Fallacy? We only have one fallacy this week. And only we have this one because friend of the show, co-host Jerry Diesel Doughty, made famous for Diesel Doghouse, told me this stat earlier last week. The stat changed a little bit, but this is how it was earlier in the week before the NLCS started. In the second half, future MVP Christian Yelich, 48% of his fly balls were home runs. That's right. 48% of the balls he hit in the air went out of the stadium. That's insane. I can't find the stat for you on if that's a record or what, but for an everyday player to hit 48% of his fly balls for a home run, that's something we may not see ever again. Especially out of a player who isn't known as a slugger, just a great pure hitter. Derek Jeter, you could have had Yelich, Ozuna, and Stanton, but instead you would have stolen Castro, and I think international pool money. So, Miami fans, looking for Derek Jeter. And that concludes the one-man weave of Ducks on the Pond podcast. It became more of a review of what's going on in baseball rather than more of a discussion podcast, but I'm by myself. What are you going to do? As always, listen to the Mothership Show on Monday, listen to Who's Stereo on Wednesday, Knuckle Sandwich on Thursday, Fantasy 15 on Friday, and Food for Thought every Saturday. We bring a lot of stuff at you. Listen to it all. It's all great stuff. There's never any dead time on any of our podcast. That's all one rule. If we're going to have a podcast, it's going to be X amount of minutes long. We're not going to have any dead time. Whether it's longer or shorter, doesn't matter. Because we're going to bring you the best content available. And for me, Layton, the producer, myself, and I, as always, Dippers, stay saucy.